Now, cyberbullying is something that affects millions of children every day, whether a child is being bullied or they are the ones doing the bullying. The effects can be damaging and long-lasting. Just last week on the show, we talked about Jamie Rodemeyer, a teen who was bullied online and took his own life. And unbelievably, this week a student was suspended for harassing Jamie's sister. This issue needs awareness. Now, Allison, what do you think that most parents need to know about online culture today to deal with this?
Well, you know, the thing that's always surprised me about online culture, the internet, and what it's created like in our world these days is that people like to hide behind anonymity. Like if you're anonymous, if you don't have a face online, you feel like you can get away with so much stuff. And I think that's ridiculous. And I feel like it's almost a new, I don't want to say a parenting skill or something like that, but it is something that parents now need to instill in their children, that just because you're not face to face with someone doesn't mean you can't hurt them.
Well, yeah, I always say that maybe schools, I know some schools are implementing this, but like we had in Canada, moral social development, where we learned the birds and the bees.
Was that a class?
Yeah.
Oh my
Moral
gosh.
social
No,
development.
but they need to have a new one. We're much more sophisticated, but they need to have one about online etiquette. And you were saying like
cyber ethics.
Cyber ethics. I think it's so important because it's easy for people not to understand how to treat each other online these days. So Nick, was this the way it was for you in high school? I mean, bullying obviously happened more offline than online. So how do we approach cyberbullying now?
Well, you know, in my case, in high school, when I was bullied, which was on a day-to-day basis,
That's how your comedy came.
Right, exactly. I found just, you know, you really cry a lot and really, and if there's a way to sort of figure out a way to let the world know that you've soiled yourself, that tends to be a very helpful way of dealing with it.
Nick.
Or just use humor to deflect answering serious questions.
Well, so I'm being, exactly. It works for you. You wear that well.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because speaking of anonymity, Formspring has become a site where you log on and people ask you questions, but they can do it anonymously, and it has actually created a lot of cyberbullying. So there's something to be said about sites that allow you to take responsibility for your actions.
So that's why the UK is really on top of the whole cyberbullying issue. There's a website called cyberbullyingreport.com where people can actually out their tormentors. They can list where they're from, who they are, what they said, their age. All this information can be disclosed on this website, and this is hopefully in pursuit of making sure that people stop doing it.
Or just go on Google Plus and use your real name.
Right.
So what is the fine line between monitoring what's going on and censoring your children and not just letting them go online at all? Nick?
I mean, I think it comes back to simple parenting, whether it's online or offline. I think bullying comes from a place of insecurity generally, and so and oftentimes I'm sure that kids are getting bullied at home in some form or other, and I think like the more that you teach people that it's just weakness to bully somebody, that hopefully the less it'll happen. You know?
Should there be a federal law created against this? I mean, that's what Lady Gaga spoke about. She goes, I'm talking to the president right now.
Lady Gaga wore a meat dress.
Yeah. Do we really want her opinion?
She's still a significant authority figure for a lot of people.
It's so hard to put something like that into law because then you're breaking into those freedom of speech type ideas. I guess we do have the idea of slander and things like that, but that's a really hard idea to instill into children. So you can't really enforce it that way, I feel like.
It's important to note too that there are different variations of cyberbullying. There's spreading rumors, identity theft, physical threats, photoshopping, and there's something called happy slapping that refers to recording someone while you're insulting them and then posting that information online.
Wow. Isn't
more
that
people
horrible?
can start ridiculing you. Yeah.
I mean, that's what comes from living in a YouTube age, is like getting hits
and
online.
Getting viral, going viral
exactly.
after doing something like that. Well, once again, October is National Bullying Prevention Month, and we suggest that everyone take a few minutes to check out stopcyberbullying.org to find out more about actions you can take to help solve this social epidemic.